self-discipline, okay? And this is a funky thing, but some people call it, oh, self-discipline, oh, you're disciplined, you're just intrinsically, you have willpower, you know, you just have it, right? It's you've always had it your entire life, living healthy, being fit, right? Making time and all this kind of stuff. No, I haven't. And the whole willpower excuse is that's the trump card, right? That's the quickest way that people will just kind of say, hey, right, I'm trying to stick to something. Today I didn't have the willpower. Or, you know what, I went to someone's house and they had just a bowl of Smarties, whatever. And I just could not, right? I gave in my willpower. I gave in. You know what, like, yeah, absolutely. If you want to coin it that way, but to me, it's not just, you know, something concrete, right? We know that, right? It's just not. Willpower is just not. Yes, some people can be a bit more focused, but all they're driven. They're goals, right? Some people call them crazy, but when you think about it, think of just for a second, hey, Justin, what's up, buddy? Think about some aspect of your life, right? When you were, I'm going to take you back on a little road trip. So think back, nothing to do with fitness, okay? Or maybe maybe if you were about to do a triathlon, which, you know, Justin, I'm not sure actually, buddy, if your background's in that. I know you bike. I just don't know but maybe someone was just about to get on and do like a bodybuilding show. But think about when you were in school, right? Exam time, university, doing your PhD, whatever it is, doing your MCAT, right? If you're doing whatever, right? When you had like whatever it was, 2, 3, 4 weeks leading up to it, when you were just like bang on, like parties were happening, people were gathering, but you were just like, nope, gotta, you know, you were doing basically your entire day was shaped around you studying or you going about whatever it was for a set period of time. So when you become laser focused, okay, it can be done. But what happens is you're not laser focused, right? It's kind of like, yeah, I want to be better. I want to feel fitter. I want to lose that 25 pounds. I want to, you know, eat a little better. Like it's just not your vocabulary, your vigor, your energy. It's just not to where it needs to be. Now, does it need to be 120%? F no. Like it doesn't, Boz. But at least you need to at least attack and say, okay, right, I'm going to set a goal for myself. And then you've got to kind of, you know, basically tune out a lot of things, right? And so the basic thing is with self-discipline is it takes time. It's a skill. You're putting in the mental reps for yourself. And you've got to understand that there's going to be strategies that might work for a set period of time, and then you might have to pivot, and that's fine, right? You might have to give in, that's fine. But the reality is other aspects of your social lifestyle, of other time commitments that you may have. Now it's the summer. Like you've got to compromise to a small degree. You've got to kind of more or less, you know, say, okay, right? I'm setting myself up for this specific goal that you're going to go have. But what am I going to be willing to give up? And what am I really going to, how much effort are you willing to kind of put in, right? Those are two great questions to ask yourself right off the hop, right? What are you willing to give up? And how much effort are you willing to put in? Because if you answer those two questions with, well, I don't want to give up blank that, I'm not going to give up much, and well, my effort, I just don't know how much effort I can put in at this moment. Do you really think that whatever goal that you're asking yourself those two questions about, what's the likelihood of you hitting those goals, okay? So here are 5 ways to build, to kind of enhance, to basically just slowly start to get that mental resiliency, but at least self-disciplined in a much better place than where you are right now. If in fact, self-discipline, if you're feeling like that's just an area that you struggle with, motivation, right? Temptations, willpower, all those things fall under this category. All right, number 1, know your weaknesses. So what do I mean by that? Know your weaknesses. Well, let's see. If you're not a morning person, okay, and you know that the only time of the day that you basically can get in, say, your workouts are going to be the morning because lunchtime doesn't offer you the ability, your work or whatever, and then after, you know, evening, it's kids, it's supper, it's no. So what are you willing to do? Well, obviously it starts from the night before, but if your pre-bed routine doesn't match what you hope to wake up to a good routine, or some nights you're early riser, then the next few mornings you're like sleeping in until 7 or 8, and then you try to get up again at 6 o'clock. Like or your weekends to weekdays is really drastically different, then that's a weakness. So know your weaknesses. Or are you someone that if you start to be active and start to get exercise, that your food, your eating habits improve, or the other way around? Most people fall under one or two categories. Curious, drop down below. What are you like? When you basically kickstart, you've been off or you're just kind of ready to get back on again, what kind of helps the other? Do you feel like if you start to exercise more, that your food habits start to improve because you're feeling guilty that you don't want to ruin the workout? Or is it the other way around? You start eating a bit better and then you get a bit more energy and motivated to exercise. So curious, what works for you? What's your kind of first bet that helps the other? I would love to know. Drop it below. So, or maybe by yourself. Your weakness is you just can't seem to get the oomph, the motivation to work out by yourself. Well, you know what? Join a group studio, join a group program, join a challenge. Obviously hire a coach, get some accountability, but get a good best bud to kind of hold you accountable and to go out and walk with or work out with or ride a bike with or run with, right? Instead of like trying to do everything by yourself. If you feel that by yourself is just not, you don't get excited for it. Know your weaknesses and then obviously put the strategy in place to kind of overcome that weakness. Number 2, remove temptations. Boys, like, again, this comes down to calling self-discipline, willpower. It just, that's BS. It's just absolutely BS. But look at it in terms of your damn environment, right? If you know you're heading to a friend's house or your parents' house and they're going to have everything, especially if you got kids and you're bringing your kids to their granny and their nannies and poppies, and you just know they're going to have everything out for the kids, and you're going to their place starved to death with no plan of attack, like, what is going to happen? Be honest. What's going to happen, right? So you plan ahead first, but you remove temptations, meaning like you've got to pre-decide. I'm going to maybe have a smoothie on the way there. I'm going to have something that's going to fill me up. I've already had my treat. Or I am going to go there and I'm not going to park my butt on the kitchen island that has all the chocolates and treats right there. You're going to kind of stay away. Or your own house or your own office, right? You just be wary of the temptations that are around you. If you have to pass by your favorite fast food restaurant every single day and you have it, I'll say maybe minimum once or twice a week, find a different route. Like, there you go. There's your best tip for the day. Find a different route, okay? So remove your temptations, okay? So then at least if you're going to coin it willpower, then you don't have to basically just dwell and say, oh, I don't know if my willpower is going to hold up today, boys. I don't know. Like, no, okay? It's nothing that you can kind of just say, crap, it was my willpower. Damn them. No, damn you, right? All right, set clear goals. Number 3, set clear goals, which that makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it? Set clear goals, but more importantly, have an execution process or an execution plan, whatever way you want to call it, okay? Have a program, right? Okay, you want to eat better. You need to be down by 15 pounds in the next 30 days. Well, how does each week work or look like? And then how does each day look like, right? How are you going to be accountable to your actions? That's an execution plan. So setting clear goals and really specific goals is stage 1, but stage 1.0, or I should say 1.B, in my view, way more important, is your actual execution process to achieve those goals. And by achieving those goals, you build mental discipline and confidence because you start getting the ball rolling. But at least you know every day, right, what your tasks are, which goes right into point number 4, set reminders. Set reminders. That, honestly, guys, and I honestly feel that's probably one of the easiest things you can do is you set a goal and then you kind of say, this is what I got to do today. And then set reminders on your phone, seeing that it's pretty much on us night and day. You can put it on your desktop computer. You can set little reminders to drink more, stand up more, do 10 squats every time there's a little alarm go off, a little ping that says in your calendar alert to say, lunchtime workout, here's your workout, or, go warm up your lunch for the day, which was blank, right? Like, really, it could be like step by step what you need to do. But if it's not in front of your face, life is going to kick it out of your face, okay? You're not going to remember it. You're going to be like, life, it was an unplanned meeting that my work came up. Oh, well, whatever, right? I'll get back on that tomorrow. Like, no. Who cares if there was an unplanned meeting, right? That might delay maybe your lunch, but it shouldn't derail your entire day. That doesn't make any sense, right? So to have mental discipline, you need to have structure, but you need to basically have what you want to achieve, or what the things that you need to do the things you want to achieve. It needs to be front and center in your mind, because every day you're getting just literally thousands of stimulus from other things that is trying to throw off basically your lifestyle and your habits, right? So anybody that is gung-ho, again, when I bring back to my top, the story off the top, is when you can think back and know, like, when you had to study, when you had to do something that was really challenging, but you had to commit to it, like, dang on, you had reminders. Maybe not your phone if we're talking back in the 90s and 80s, but you had notes. You had basically your schedule, your day was just lined up. And no matter what happened, you knew what you needed to do. You shut off the world for that. It was week, 2 weeks, whatever it was, to achieve that you had to achieve. Okay? So if you really are serious with making health and fitness changes, okay, guys, then you need to be very freaking serious about how you go about it. And it can't be just fucking wishy-wash and just, gonna do this today, see how it goes. Like, no, that's not how we go. The fifth and final thing is 3 strategies that has worked for me personally to improve my mental discipline, but also my clients. So I wanted to actually give you something valuable, okay, that you can take home that actually is time tested. And like I said, it works for me, and it has worked for a shitload of my clients, okay? So from improving your mental discipline, if you're just joining on late, okay? And I mean, if you are, guys, let me know if you're finding any sort of value in this kind of stuff, okay? So number 1, okay, is intermittent fasting. Now, again, I'm not pro diet anything. Anybody that knows me, I'm not. I am an intermittent faster. Yes, I have been, almost 2 years. But what I like about intermittent fasting, and I find it has enhanced people's mental discipline, not everybody, so I will say that off the top, that some people tried it and it just didn't seem to work, but most that have felt like that so-called set point, okay, hard stop of when they had to start eating and when they had to stop eating, that builds mental discipline here. Because when it comes to, say, 8 o'clock, when you now need to start your fasting window, then you can't eat. But when you normally just say in your head, well, I got to stop eating at 9 o'clock in the night. If you just say that, and the next thing you know, you see a commercial, you go grab a drink. Oh, you know what? I want to have this. Your spouse comes next to you, and she starts, smacking away, or he starts smacking away. You're like, whatever, I'll do this tonight. So having a hard stop when you eat, and when you start to eat, having those so-called black and white lines as to your start endpoints, that can really work for people, because they know, I got to start eating here and then I got to stop eating here. It's a hard stop and a hard start. Okay, so for some people, if you feel like that rigidness or structure may work for you, and if you haven't given it a shot, I honestly encourage you to try it. And again, I don't have to go into the details of intermittent fasting because that's a whole long-winded talk about it. But I'm just saying is that maybe it's you start eating, say, at 10:30 in the morning, but then you stop at 7 or 8, and you you write it down and say, I'm not eating at 8 o'clock. So I have a 10, 12, or 14 or 16 hour fast, okay? So intermittent fasting can definitely build discipline into not eat, say, in the evening. Number 2, your morning routine. Man, damn it, I know it sucks, but when you have a morning routine locked in and you know what it does to you, like when you're done and your morning is just on fire, you're just like, man, I got this done. I already have a great maybe breakfast, or I cook some things, and I've also got maybe a few hours of work done, and you're just energized. Your productivity, your clarity, everything is jacked up. When you feel that, one, you got to feel it first. But when you have a morning routine, man, it can suck to get out of bed, right? It just can, especially like in the winter and it's dark. It's always dark. When you get off work, it's dark, right? But when you have a morning routine and you do it day in, boy, oh boy, yeah, it can suck, but that will build mental discipline. I can absolutely promise you. But when it's kind of like, you don't really care, then your day gets out of control for you, then you feel behind the 8 ball, right? You're always behind the 8 ball. So you need to be in front, okay? So build a morning routine that works for you. And finally, last one, okay, resistance training. Resistance training not only studies, but myself and all my clients, I can unequivocally say that my clients that have really more or less been open-minded and they've really put in the effort and they challenge themselves to get stronger. And as you can hear, I'm saying stronger. I'm not talking about lifting crazy ass heavy weights. You don't like that. You don't have a gym membership. You don't have access to the weight. You don't want to get bulky, which is BS. But like just the fact of putting in the effort and really, really, challenging your muscles with resistance training is probably, out of everything that I've said tonight, if you're looking for a way to enhance your mental discipline, okay, start resistance training. Start, strength training, whatever way you want to call it. Strength training, resistance training. Lift weights, okay? Plain and simple. Go buy some if you can find them and lift them, because there's something that you can't get with other exercises. Now, don't get me wrong. I know, Justin, like if you're doing a 300-kilometer bike ride, fuck, that is mental discipline. I don't care what. That's, in my mind, that's crazy. Like, that's 90% mental. Obviously, you need to be physically fit, but like that is 90% mental. For pretty much most people will probably say it's 100% mental, right? People that go and leave the gut in kitty vitty in a kayak, even though they have all this technological stuff, and they're going to paddle. I'm not talking about in a motorized boat, but when they're going out of the gut and they're paddling kayak heading for Europe or basically England or Scotland, that is clearly they're fit. Like, duh, they're fit, right? But it's like 99% mental, right? And so they're in a different space. But you know what? They've put themselves hard with their training. I find resistance training, when we're not all athletes, okay, resistance training just allows you to really start to feel, man, I'm getting stronger. I'm going to challenge myself. Can I do more reps? Can I lift more weight? And then when you start seeing the physical changes, it's like, honestly, winning the damn lottery for most people, okay? So start strength training if you haven't given it a shot, right? Or you're afraid that you might get hurt, well then reach out. Like, no joke, I don't care who it is, okay? Myself or another coach, I don't care. Someone who definitely knows their shit though, okay? Not just some random person, okay? Not just your best friend that might, that has weightlifted for the last 15 years. That doesn't mean shit in my mind. They might be amazing, but they also could not be amazing, okay? But just basically get some of the fundamentals, the basics of strength training, and I guarantee you, like as much honesty as my two, grandmothers, both of them, rest in peace, okay, would commit and would admit that resistance training is just something that absolutely does build mental discipline. And any of my clients, I could hop them all on here and say, how has resistance training changed your mentality or your focus or your discipline and all that kind of stuff? And like I said, every single person would be like, yeah, it made a difference. It made a difference. And I'm not just talking about, body weight here and there, doing a few workouts, off on. No, I'm talking about actually hitting, resistance training with actual effort, okay? And training hard with actual effort, right? If you study as hard as you can, you're going to kill the test, correct? You're going to go places academically. Well, it's the same thing that needs to happen with your training. So basically, all those 5, know your weaknesses, remove temptations, set clear goals, and then clearly set an execution plan to hit those goals. Set reminders, be front of mind, top of mind constantly. And then finally, things that you should consider to really help build mental discipline is maybe intermittent fasting. All right, if you think that you can push it, right, a few hours before eating, then think about it, okay? Build a morning routine that you got to kind of stick to, and then finally look to enhance or at least start resistance training. So those are things that, no question, you can get everything on a piece of paper, right? Here's your meal plan. Here's all your workouts, okay? You've now set your your alarm clock before the night before, and you're going to bed at 10 o'clock. So everything seems lined up. What happens in the morning if you're not basically up here ready and you don't have a proper plan in place? It's not going to work. It's honestly, the first few mornings it will, because hey, it's something new. Great, I'm energetic, I'm motivated. Yay, right? But what about week 2 and 3, right? Miss one day, miss 1, miss 1, 2, miss 1, 2, miss the weekend, miss 3. Okay, now I'm off. You're off altogether. You're long gone now. I'll get back at it now in a couple more weeks. Boom, you just hit the reset, and that's sad. So building mental discipline is significant. It's very important, and it will enhance the likelihood that you not only basically hit and achieve all these probably long-winded things that you might want to change for yourself, but it provides you with also the ability to control in all these other situations as well. So again, I'm in the health and fitness bubble. That's what I'm about. But clearly, any sort of way or methods of helping to build your mental discipline, your mental resiliency, clearly also translates to other aspects of your life. And I will say that, folks, that you ask any leader, okay, that really values managing their own health and fitness, that it basically encapsulates what their entire day and meaningful life purpose is about. But when they lose, or yourself, when you lock in, your relationships are going great, and you're doing great career-wise, right? You got it made. Your business is going well. But many of you have come to me, or at least what I hear, is that the one aspect of your life that you just cannot seem to get control of, to manage of, at least longer than 2 months or a month, okay, is your health and fitness. For many people, it is, and it's frustrating. Because if it's you, how frustrating does that make you? That you seem to have other aspects of your life locked in, but it's just like this is the thorn, right? It's the kryptonite. So I do think that, the objective stuff of just doing movement, eating healthier, watch your stress, all those things are like, we know that. Like, that's nothing new, folks. Like, exactly, 100% what to do. Don't you? 100% you know what to do. So the execution part is your struggle, right? Well, then accountability, but also up here, needs to be, in my view, in a better place, your mindset. And if you don't have a proper mindset, honestly, at some point, things are going to fizzle off and you're not going to basically stick to the same level of degree of focus that you probably would have when you first start something, right? So attack your mindset just as you attack, say, making meals, eating healthier, and exercising and sleeping. Attack your mindset. How we go with that? Cool, right? Hopefully you find some value in that. And I always tell people, hey, I'm a small business. I'm trying to get this message out clearly. I'm doing this freaking daily, right? So I'm passionate about trying to gain, at least one person that sees this, some level of insight, so that they leave when after I hit stop and they're like, okay, time to F up. Time to snap out of it, Susan or Mike or whoever, right? Time to snap out. I need to make this change. If I can do that for one person per video, by golly, that's it. That's why I do this, okay? So if you know of anybody, right? No problem, Dakota, right? Listen, your path is, definitely happening, right? You're doing the good things, right? And we may collide at some point, but you just go with it. But I doctor, right? You're at the higher power, but I just think that doing some basic form of training, right? When it comes to mindset, man, when I employ that with clients and myself, it's a game changer. Boss, it's a game changer. Like when you're talking about looking for the one supplement, right? This one pill, powder, strip, cleanse, whatever it is that says take this and you're which we know is BS. You know that it's BS. But when you have the ability to at least fall off, but then quickly get back on, then that is, you are superpower. You are superpower. When you can fall off the wagon on a Friday night, maybe a Saturday, and then Sunday morning, right, when you probably feel like shit if you're hungover, right, you just all right, boom, time to make a smoothie, time to make a healthy breakfast. Gonna get my walk in, my exercise workout in. It's Sunday. I'm not waiting until Monday. If you can basically get to that level, just think of that happening, because it's going to happen. You're going to fall off the wagon. Just think how successful you could be in a year, 2 years, 3 years. If you throw in, whatever it is, however many days, I won't put a number on it, but when you throw in the shit days, and then the next day you're back on. Versus the old way of thinking, throw in a shit day, it's weekend, it's Friday night, just wait till Monday. That happens once a month. That's, 2 days, right? 2-3 days. Let's even say 4 days, 5 days a month, right? Times that by 12 months. That's what most people think, right? That's how they act. That's how they react. And that's the shitty reaction strategy that you have. And you need to basically, boom, cut it off. Boom, like you're cutting your arm off. Cut it off. But build mental discipline by all those things I just talked about. So if you're just joining late, I'll hit stop and then you just kind of watch from the beginning. But I'll just get back to the point. Share with one person. Tag one name or share the video. It would be beyond my wildest dreams if you did that, okay? Because I loves you, and hopefully there's some love coming back. Anyway, awesome? Cool. If you need any, like if you're like, okay, you're ringing a bell, Ryan, but this is my situation. Do you got one strategy? Like, what should I focus on? Boom. If you need that, no sale, no nothing. I'll just, boom, let's, whatever. If it's through text, if it's a quick phone call, I'll be like, yep, get your situation. Okay, this is the, if you need just one strategy, I can easily provide that for you. Like, don't think that you can't get access to me or whatever. Like, listen, right? If you're just needing that kind of quick push, hey, but if you're really hitting the wall and you're kind of near your last nerve, right? As my aunt used to say, right? You're on my last nerve. If you're on your last nerve, don't waste any more time. You're going to waste more money. In the end, you will, right? And you're going to age because the stress is going to get to you. Then reach out purposely to potentially be a client of mine. If you really need that level of guidance and accountability and the real kick in the ass, but strategy approach, hey, it's okay. If you reach out, no one's going to tell and no one's going to hurt. No one's going to not like you. Okay? All right? Sound good? Let's go.